More than 30 years ago, a man walking his dog found skeletal remains near the Arkansas River in Sand Springs. The remains were later identified as 20-year-old Christine Miller. And despite having a suspect, an arrest and charges have never come. That's why we're happy to welcome back Ed Jackson of the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Task Force to talk through this case. Welcome in, Ed. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. The wind blew me right in here today, and I'm ready to go.
It's a rough one out there. Looking through this case, I mean, all murders are horrific, but this one was extra brutal.
Well, it was extra brutal in as much as this young lady remained unidentified for quite some time. When deputies were dispatched, they found, in addition to the remains this gentleman had stumbled onto, found other bones, found some bullet fragments, and a jacket, a tan jacket, that appeared to have bullet holes in the right side. Now, the medical examiner, on examining this carcass, stated that she had been shot between the breast with a shotgun, but the cause of death was blunt trauma to the head.
Wow.
She had several injuries to the head that just destroyed the brain. Because of this, it took a long time and actually a facial reconstruction to identify her. This happened in 1989. She wasn't identified as Christine Miller until 2014.
Wow, just recently. I mean,
yes, relatively recently. Yes, that was what, 25 years after the murder. And the medical examiner also determined that she had been dead between 3 and 6 months. And through science, he said that she was 20 years old, give or take a year. A tall girl, 5'9" to 6 feet tall, with light brown hair, but that's all we knew about her. After she was identified, we have a principal suspect and some other possible suspects that we have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but not nearly enough to go to court. What it's going to take is some real evidence and real testimony. The only thing that will be accomplished, of course, is punishment for the perpetrators. But this family deserves to know what happened to their daughter. And I hope that anybody that has any kind of information about this will take a moment and call the Sheriff's Tip Hotline or call Crime Stoppers. We would like to close the book on this case. What
have you learned about Christine? I mean, have you been able to contact family members and learn a little bit more about her?
Not a whole lot, not a whole lot. Her family was found, but of course, that was 25 years ago, and who knows what their reaction was. I'm sure it was a reaction of horror. The cases like this that I've personally dealt with, it's just a terrible shock to everyone.
So you're hoping somebody in Tulsa recognizes her, recognizes that name, and could come forward with information?
Right. There are people in Tulsa that I'm sure know her from the past and know who she was with and what was happening and the lifestyle that was being led, and can close this case.
A lot of the cases that we do, when you and I do these segments together, you have a good idea about who did it, but you just need something concrete for someone to come forward. How often is that the case in a lot of these cold cases where you just don't have enough to go to trial?
It's very, very common. I know personally, I have worked 2 cases, cold cases, that I know who did it. I have reasonable man evidence. After looking at everything, interviewing people, I know who did it, and often I know how it was done and why it was done. But that's not good enough for 12 citizens in a jury box. They need something concrete.
Well, Ed, thank you so much. Hopefully we can get something concrete from people who see this segment. So if you have any information at all that could help investigators solve this case, you're asked to call the Tulsa County Cold Case Task Force. That's the number on your screen right now, 918-596-8836. Thank you, Ed.